Good evening, everybody. This is episode 117. We are here. It is Tuesday night, just after 10 p.m. Eastern Time here in New York. I am joined by Brandon Bash tonight, and we're here to deliver you guys another episode. Brandon, how you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. Still working. That's all I ever say. Still working, but doing all right. I enjoy the job, so that's good. And hot days of summer, I'm able to get outside a couple of days, so it's good too. How you doing?
Nice. Good, man. Good. Just got out of a action-packed jiu-jitsu class. I
Hmm.
am exhausted. I'm tired, but I am ready to go with another episode. How about you? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I don't know if that. I don't know if you sound ready. I said, "Are you ready?"
Hell yeah!
Are you ready?
Agility from the champion. Uh-oh! Oh, deep six! That could be it. Delivers this deep six.
Well. This episode, we got some stuff to talk to you guys about. We're going to talk about John Cena. We're going to talk about the return of Rhea Ripley. We got Punk, Drew, and Seth Rollins to talk about there. The road to SummerSlam. Your thoughts on Money in the Bank. We got some stuff to cover tonight. So, those of you guys that are watching or about to watch, hang with us. We're going to talk about the most important stuff that happened in WWE this weekend. Brandon, I need to know. Let's start off really quick. I gave you guys all my thoughts. If you want to know my thoughts about Money in the Bank, you can go back to our post show and check that out. But Brandon, what were your thoughts about this past weekend's Money in the Bank from Toronto?
I absolutely despise the same night cash-ins. And it's for the simple fact that a growing storyline is completely lost in that amount of time. I don't understand the setup, and then especially with this one having the loss just to further the CM Punk stuff made absolutely no sense to me. Tippy time is fantastic. Can't wait for Tippy time. Um, Definitely understand the bloodline winning. That made enough sense to me. Solo's been on a very big losing streak, so if they want to turn anything around, they needed to actually amp them up a little bit. So that made sense. And probably missing. Oh, Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. That was definitely, I would say, a surprise and not a surprise, because you obviously want him to win in Canada. I totally understand. I want to say the plans changed for the simple fact of Kevin Owens losing as well. I think that they needed a Canada boost, and they were probably all very upset. So I think that's where that change probably happened over the 48 hours that led up to Money in the Bank.
Yeah, so a lot of good points there. I'm not a fan of the quick cash in by any means. I suppose they really could have done this a little bit differently as far as the briefcase goes. However, we had I had Jey Uso winning, to be honest with you. Drew McIntyre did call his shot and say he was going to do this, and that was WWE's way of telling you that this is happening. I wasn't really buying it. I was hoping for Jey Uso. This way you can build him up for another, 6 to 12 months or so. The world title has a lot of flexibility of things that you can do there. But so I'm not a fan of the quick cash in. So now that you have Tiffany time winning the women's Money in the Bank briefcase, I would suppose she's going to need to hold it for a little while just to keep a briefcase available for the fans to enjoy, so we can get that surprise moment of a briefcase. Um, Priest winning, I had him winning. I didn't feel that this was the time to do it. Neither do I feel that this is the time for Priest to lose to Gunther. I don't think it's Gunther winning because I am sticking to my guns, and I might be very well wrong, but I'm sticking to my guns that Gunther is going to lose. He will win at the Royal Rumble and choose Cody at WrestleMania 41 because Cody is not facing The Rock at 41. I'll tell you that right now. It's going to be Rock and Roman. There's a reason why they've kept Cody and Gunther on separate brands and away from each other because of the impression that at least I've got as a fan that Cody versus Gunther had quick bangers at the end of each Royal Rumble for the past 2 to 3 years now. And I feel like, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if WWE feels like this is going to be a money match for sure. So that's why I have Cody versus Gunther as a WrestleMania match for sure. So that being said, I have Drew, Damian Priest, holding on to this belt for a little while. To your point with Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn, I was having a little bit of trouble. I was kind of leaning a little bit more Braun Breaker, kind of getting that Brock Lesnar push, getting his first title shot and winning right away. Braun Breaker looked really good on Saturday night. He looked excellent. Absolutely excellent. I'm telling you right now, Braun Breaker is going to be the guy for the WrestleMania 40s into the WrestleMania 50s era. He's your next John Cena, Roman Reigns. Give it a little time. As soon as Roman Reigns gets a little bit out of the way in the next year or two, Braun Breaker, I believe, is going to be the main guy. So there's really no right or wrong answer with the decision between Sami Zayn. Tiffy, we called it. And I'm telling you right now, expect pink briefcases to go on sale on WWE.com soon.
Yeah.
It's marketable.
I'm also upset that there wasn't a yeah case, but it's all right. Or a yeet case. You're very right. There's so many things that there could have been.
Yeah, they could have done yeet in the bank or money yeet in the bank or something like that.
Yeet in the bank. No, I think Money in the Bank Yeet case was so perfect. It was right in front of them, and that's the weird thing too. Is if you watched after the Money in the Bank, every advertisement had Jay holding the Money in the Bank. So I was very confused why they had him pitching it and not winning it. So very weird.
It was almost as if he was kind of poised to win this thing.
Mm-hmm. And they took it away from us.
The women's Money in the Bank arguably was one of the greatest Money in the Bank matches, period.
That my friend texted me. My friend texted me, and because I watched it the day after. But yeah, my friend texted and said, "I'm not spoiling anything for you other than this is possibly, the match of the night is definitely the women's Money in the Bank, and this might be the best women's Money in the Bank ever." And after watching, I agree as well. There was obviously a couple of botches. It's gonna happen. You got 15-foot ladders and. It's obviously a lot of different women in there, but other than that, which happens in all of them, fantastic match.
Chelsea Green was the MVP of this match. I loved her comical spot where she was kind of like afraid to go up the ladder. So she folds back up the ladder and starts jumping up to like try to knock it down. I thought that was great. Just imagine, I mean, if you want to be like, she could have just really, she had so much time. She just could set up the ladder, ran up and grabbed it, end it quick, but I get it. But she took the bump at the end. That was like a 15-foot drop easily through the tables. My goodness. I was in shock. I was like, no, like, I had my hands cover my mouth. I was like, you got to be kidding me. That was some bump. She was the MVP of that match.
Tell me that wasn't the cleanest table shot that you had seen in a minute, though. I mean, not even women's cleanest. I don't think I've seen like a clean table strike like that in 10, 15 years. That was beautiful.
Yeah, she landed perfectly. Thank God. She was okay. She was willing and comfortable to do that spot too, which I thought was
Hmm.
pretty cool as well.
Off the
Um,
ladder, turned perfect. She even had her like arms back to like protect her head. Wasn't even close to her head too. Like just took that so well. And it's still gonna be a son of a bitch to take. Cause like I said, 15 feet up going right to your back. And that's where a lot of guys have gotten concussed because they hit back. So I personally want to see a lot of guys start falling like that.
Let me tell you, the crowd popped for that. Lyra Valkyra, the spot with she suplexed. I want to say it was no, was it Io or
Oh,
Zoe? One of the two, where she was kind of hanging upside down and she
mm-hmm.
caught a suplex.
I can't
And then there
remember
was
now.
another spot with Io, when she did that move to Zoe Stark onto the ladder.
Oh, that
That
was
was about
wild.
an 8 foot drop.
That was wild. There
Unbelievable
was
ladder
yeah.
match.
Mm-hmm. There was just some
Unbelievable.
crazy moves.
So let's talk about that Damian Priest spot. Um,
Yeah,
Obviously,
what?
it's
What?
what everybody's talking about in this match. Nobody's talking about how, I wouldn't say like they kind of, I wouldn't say it was a great wrestling match, but they definitely exceeded my expectations and probably many fans' expectations. They had a good match. Seth looks like he looked a little rusty. He did a couple moves that he hasn't really done too much lately. He looked like he may have put on a couple pounds. I'm not gonna lie, but nothing too
Happens
crazy.
with a
Just
knee
enough to
injury.
notice it. Yeah.
Happens with a knee injury.
So
It's tough to move.
yeah. So it was a good match. I feel like Damian Priest has improved a lot. I'm trying to figure out why the reasoning why Damian Priest didn't kick out. Maybe the music was supposed to hit early, and they WWE backstage didn't confirm nor deny if that was the reason. It's possible Damian Priest didn't hear the first slap in the mat. That's another thing too. Um, I just don't. I don't think that's a cue that would normally be missed for sure. So somebody botched that. So it could be one of the two. Maybe Damian Priest didn't hear the first slap of the mat, and maybe that music was supposed to hit a little bit sooner. Damian
I'm
Priest
50-50 on that.
not gonna
I'm
get
definitely yeah.
he's not gonna get any heat on that.
Mm.
And notice on Raw they kind of covered that up a little bit. Even Seth Rollins said people made mistakes during the match. I should be champion. Blah blah blah. So they kind of did a pretty decent job covering that up.
Officials make mistakes in every sport. It happens. Like he basically took the like it happens, which is smart. Like no reason to show anybody up. Something obviously was supposed to happen that didn't. Maybe in Canada they were counting in French, so he didn't know the difference between un, deux, and trois, whatever it is. So he missed it. You never know, but I'm glad. Yeah,
What else? What are some other key points before we get to the John Cena talk?
I think that was
But
about it.
all in all, very very good show. I definitely enjoyed it. Everybody worked hard. Um, yeah, it was a very good Money to Bank. As far as our predictions go, we predicted the last three matches correct.
Mm,
We predicted the women's correct, Priest
mm,
correct, and then Bloodline. Bloodline won. That was to be expected. You're not going to have Bloodline lose this soon with this new
right.
version of the Bloodline group. They need to build up for a little while. I don't think Bloodline's going to take a loss until at least Survivor Series when the rumored, you know, Civil War is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you guys that are watching, please feel free to leave some comments. We are live. Feel free to leave some comments. And unlike some other websites, we don't charge for comments. So please join our conversation. We'd love to hear your thoughts about this whole week. that we've just witnessed with Money in the Bank and Raw, whatever you guys want to comment, we'll be sure to address. John Cena came out, introduced by Trish Stratus, the hometown girl hero for Toronto, and he had on his shirt, "The last time is now," and he had the towel. So I automatically knew what that was in some kind of way. I knew it was going to be retirement related. But we get to the promo, and first John Cena, he gives the Canadian fans a props, and he tells them that I wanted to do this here for you guys because you guys always show up. Canadian fans always bring it. As we've watched WWE pay-per-views for the last couple months, France, Scotland, Canada, honestly, I'm going to be very raw and real. Us United States fans can take lessons on how to be engaged with WWE events and sporting events in general. We're like a library. We're like a library compared to these other countries. You know? Mm-hmm. Chicago is the one exception. They're always hot. So that's like the one. Pittsburgh's pretty good. Houston occasionally. Brooklyn's all right. But nobody, there's no city in the U.S. that remotely comes close to Canada, France, Scotland.
I mean, those decibel readings are insane.
They were trying to do the decibel ratings for Toronto, I think, or one of the most recent United States shows. I'm like, please don't. I don't even think it's real.
Yeah, no.
But yeah,
I mean, 20,000
John
strong
Cena,
there was crazy.
John Cena, so he comes out and he announces his retirement, and he further clarifies on the post show after Money in the Bank, talking about how he is going to do a farewell tour. So basically, we're going to have a 1-year run out of him. We'll see him more often than we saw Roman Reigns last year, that's for sure. About 30 to 40 matches, which is pretty good. Hopefully, that's included for live TV. I will say, though, he says he's going to wrap up his career in December, I would imagine if he stays healthy. And I would think that the Madison Square Garden house show December 26th should probably be his last show ever on December 26th.
Yeah, depending on when day one is.
They should do it as a special. They should do it as a special. But because the WWE in Madison Square Garden December 6th is usually notoriously the best house show of the year. It's the holidays, everybody has off, and WWE draws good there. So we've seen random like title changes, and you just never know. So they should make a show out of it and make it a special. Yeah.
When did they do tribute to the troops? Yes, it was. When is tribute in the troops? Because I feel like it's usually around that December time as well, and I think that would be a very good send-off for him.
That is actually a really good send-off. Tribute to the troops would be like fitting. Usually in early December.
I think that would be perfect then.
Cena versus Cody. I mean, it's possible we'll get it. I just don't think we see that at Mania. And I don't think you have Cena beating Cody either. You have to have Cody beat Cena. Cena does the job relatively on his way out. I would like to, you never know. There is the possibility Cena could get one more title run for 17 and have the most championships. That's what like a lot of people are thinking, because basically John Cena is doing a whole year, so he can probably do 2 or 3 programs throughout 2025. I don't know if they'll do it, but it's possible.
I'll draw this real quick for you. I will absolutely draw this for you real quick. Logan Paul, LA Knight gets it at SummerSlam now after losing Money in the Bank, and I would absolutely love to see it. He gets his first title. He goes
that's
on to
getting it.
lose it again. He goes on to lose it in about 3 or 4 months to Austin Theory after he inevitably leaves fucking Grayson Waller, because they're obviously on split terms very soon. So in the next few months, Austin Theory will try to get it back, win it, and then we'll see Austin Theory versus John Cena 2, and John Cena will get the belt.
The U.S. title.
Yes.
I mean, it's not going to count as a 17 championship, but
It will not. It will
could
not.
happen.
But it'll at least give him another title run, and then maybe after losing that, they give him a push from SummerSlam down. But I feel like the only time, I feel like they can give him another push after losing that belt, saying, "Hey, now that I've held one belt, I want the other one," and try to win it at SummerSlam, which we're looking way in advance in a year. But I think that's probably the best move, is at least show that he can still hold a title, give him the U.S. title, and then 6 months down the line, give him a chance at the actual world heavyweight or Universal Championship, whichever he's around for.
Let me ask you this. And those of you guys that are watching, we want to hear what you think. Who do you think John Cena's last match will be against?
Randy Orton.
I knew you were going to say that. A lot of people saying Randy Orton.
That was first time about 82 times in the WWE. First time ever, about 12 different times.
Yeah. I mean, and John Cena and Randy Orton basically came up together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, hearing John Cena retire is crazy. That was easily that was the second favorite WWE wrestler of mine for a while. I remember watching him SmackDown when I was, 7 years old and everything. Like, just insane watching that guy's growth, and just he was the first rapper I ever knew, to be honest. Like, just crazy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Cena's had a great career, very, very polarizing. You kind of loved to root against him, just because Vince McMahon just had, um, you know, Cena was his boy. Cena was his main toy, kind of like how Hogan was, So at times, Cena kind of felt like shoved down everybody's throats, you know. Cena really improved his wrestling skills. I feel like he hit his peak around 2015 when he had feuds with AJ Styles and Seth Rollins. I thought that was, and when he had that U.S. title run, I really think he was really, really impressive in the ring then. Yeah, John Cena had a great career. He drew money. The kids loved him. WWE was pretty much the whole PG area was basically targeting the kids for sure.
Yeah.
That's probably going to change in about 6 months when they go on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Biggie Smash! You better not watch in 6 months when they go on Netflix, or just make sure you watch with your parents. Oh man, yeah, because the content that could potentially be allowed, might be a little questionable for kids. I know my parents were very hard on me as far as the Austin Rock and Attitude Era and Austin 316 and just different things, and my dad didn't like any of that stuff, so I kind of had to sneak that stuff growing up. That's how bad it was.
I started watching DX 2005, 2006, so I think you remember those times.
The stuff that got allowed on TV was just crazy. Absolutely crazy. The stuff they got away with, the innuendos, out of this world.
I mean,
can't wait for Angelina Part 2 on Netflix. That'll be Dominic and Lita. We saw her a little bit last night.
Who knows who we actually get? That's gonna be a whole freaking party.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious. If this was on Netflix now, forget about it. Oh man.
There was some funny stuff. With Liv versus Dom. That was great.
Let's talk about it. We had the Judgment Day on Raw last night. We had talked mostly the key points of Raw, and again, the Judgment Day and Dominic saga with Liv Morgan just continues to escalate week by week, with Liv accidentally falling on Dominic and Dominic accidentally falling on Liv. And this is just getting funny now. And like Triple H, he must be laughing his butt off in the back. You know what's weird? Bully Ray made an interesting point on Busted Open. It's kind of hard to really kind of invest and believe in the story, knowing that in real life, Rhea Ripley is married to Buddy Matthews now, and Dominic is married. Liv is probably single and looking. She's busy buying $11,000 worth of sneakers and just living it up. So knowing that and knowing how like the wrestlers post their personal stuff on Facebook and Instagram, it kind of takes me out of the realism of what's going on with WWE. Like back then, like growing up, we didn't know what was going on in these personal lives of wrestlers, pre-social media, pre-internet. We didn't know what was going on in these personal lives of wrestlers. So everything you'd watch on TV, you had the belief that there was some realism to it. Like this was like almost real or fixed. We knew it was fixed, but there could have been a realism to this. Like maybe they're together in real life and what have you. But now like these wrestlers, they post their lives on social media and Instagram. It kind of takes me away from my imagination a little bit. If you know what I
Zack
mean.
Ryder getting his heart broken by John Cena will forever be like the most heartbreaking moment in WWE because you thought they were really together. Like, I understand exactly what you mean, though.
Like kayfabe is a lost art right now in the world of wrestling. Like, I want my imagination to wander in the world of WWE and believe like these storylines are parallel to what's going on in real life. But I can't have that if wrestlers are posting that they went on this wedding, they just got married. It's like, how am I supposed to really buy into a story if Rhea, Dominic are posting their wedding pictures and what have you? So that kind of takes it away from a little bit. So, but other than that, like I'm really enjoying this story. It really escalated last night. And I don't know about your TV feed, but as Dominic fell on Liv and they're about to have a kiss in the ring in a precarious position, then Rhea Ripley's music hits. It was hinted earlier on in the night that Damian Priest was on the phone and he was being asked like, who are you on the phone with? By Finn. And we kind of knew it was Rhea. But that music hit right away. Liv ran out of there like a scolded dog. And then we got Dominic in the ring. Like, they're both in shock.
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley confronts Dominic. She's not happy. She's pissed. And Damian Priest told Dominic a couple weeks ago she's not happy. So Rhea Ripley was pissed. So I don't know about your TV feed, but my TV feed went off as Dominic extended his arms to Rhea, and Rhea just started to walk away. Just started. Like, so I kind of had an idea what was happening. I don't know why this is a thing for the past couple weeks. Maybe they're doing it purposely to leave the cliffhanger. And they basically left the cliffhanger for us because now, next Monday, I want to know what happens, Brandon. So anyway, we got that cliffhanger, and then it was online that they showed that Rhea walks away, does not even hug Dominic. Dominic's kind of trailing right behind her, and that's how Raw went off the air. What did you think of this segment?
I like that they were able to kind of give the alley-oop like Rhea's back. I really would have appreciated not knowing that it was coming. So, it would have been a little bit better to see that. But I think he got the job done. And I understand Rhea coming out and obviously being upset. Liv running away like the cowardly heel champion is good and bad because she's been playing a dangerous game thinking that Rhea wasn't around. Now that Rhea is around, I understand her being scared. So I saw also on a couple of different, online reads that people were split on that, but I think that that was a smart move to have her run away as the cowardly champion because, again, she was playing that dangerous game while Rhea wasn't around. Knock, knock, Rhea's back.
And it's going to be Rhea versus Liv Morgan for that title at SummerSlam. That being said, Dominic could be involved since now he's kind of caught in between the two. Like he's like right now, like he's directly in the middle of this. The way I see it, he can kind of go either way. I suspect Liv Morgan's going to end up with Dominic in the end. I'm a little bit more than 50-50. 60% goes to Liv, 40% back to Rhea for full time. But I suspect Dominic is going to be in the mix somehow. Maybe special referee. Maybe he's kind of going to be out there in both their corners. Maybe a stipulation of some sort of who has the right to have Dominic. That would be pretty interesting, considering we had Dominic up for custody about 20 years ago in the match between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero for child custody. So we're right back here 20 years ago, 20 years later. I
think Dominic is such a sought-after commodity in WWE.
It's so true. Oh my gosh. Goodness gracious. I wonder what Dominic's wife in real life thinks about all this.
I think you have to understand that, right? I think you have to understand that these people are actors in a way that, other actors literally have sex scenes. John Cena was in a sex scene. Like, you have to understand that these people are actors, and I hate to say if you sign up for that role, but anyone's allowed to say no, and it's tough because the WWE is paying you a lot of money, and when you have those scenes, again, you're an actor, so you have to be okay with it as a loving and supporting person that wants to live off of that $1 million a year.
Absolutely. Well, let's just say Dominic has one of the best acting jobs in the world right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, like I said, sought over commodity from two women that are, how do you say, good looking? But yeah.
Unbelievable.
Man, that stretching spot was fantastic. Yeah,
oh my gosh!
Poked their head out in the background.
When they poked their heads in.
That's cool. Like, Carl, you don't know.
Was like, that's, and then JD's like,
no, not cool.
The look on Damian Priest's face.
It was and then they come back and Pat McAfee does the fucking football analysis with it. That was
I know.
That whole time. This is fantastic. Raw is doing what SmackDown was able to do with those two on the set, and now Raw is just eons better than SmackDown could imagine to be. But that's another announcement that we can make too.
A whole nother vibe. Yeah, go on.
I can't remember his name now. There was a new sign for commentary on SmackDown.
Yes,
I don't know if you saw that.
New commentator. And it's going to be on SmackDown. They said.
Yeah, he was he was the football analysis. He was football commentary for Monday Night Football in like 2018 and 19. He's a very Cornette. No, not Cornetti. I can't remember his name for the life of me now. If you could look that up real quick for me.
Yeah, we're gonna look that up right now. I
Sorry,
saw
my
the
computer's
announcement
dead. I'm on my
today.
phone. Hmm.
I did see the announcement today. I don't know why they need a third announcer.
I
'Cause I
think
feel like Corey Graves is kind of growing in his position.
mhm.
Um, Wade Barrett's been doing a great job.
They're
I'm
both
really more of a fan
commentators.
of it too.
They're both commentators. The way that Vince McMahon was a great setup, and like the way like Corey Grave is a great setup, and Wade Barrett is a great setup, but there's no driving force, and I think that that's the sign here. The way that Michael Cole is a driving force, the way that Jim Ross was the driving force, like that is what SmackDown needs, and I think that's what this sign is going to do is give a play-by-play announcer with two good color commentators. That is what I think they're trying to do. And me being a play-by-play announcer back at school, I absolutely understand where they're coming from, and that's why Cole and Pat are great. That's what they're going to look for in SmackDown.
Honestly, I would love to see them bring back Mauro Ranallo. Why not bring him back? Like you should have been back already.
Yeah,
I don't know. But Mauro
I
Ranallo
guess
is
we'll
one of
see
my
how it
favorite.
goes.
Or why not bring
Did you
back
did you,
Joey
did you see the?
Styles?
Mm-hmm. That would be great. That would. Oh wow, that was a blast from the past.
I mean, Joey Styles, he did the whole announcing by himself. He didn't need a second announcer because he was that
Right?
good.
Where's Matt Striker when you need him?
I was never really a fan of Matt
Really?
Striker. I don't know. Like he's very knowledgeable. Like I just maybe just I didn't like his voice. And same thing with Taz. Like I'm not really a fan of their commentating voice, to be honest.
Hmm.
But Taz does
Wow.
bring a lot to the team. I was
Hmm.
just never into Taz. Wasn't really into Striker as well. I think JBL was good as backup. Of course, Jerry Lawler was one of the best.
Hmm.
Bobby Heenan, hands down, was one of the best. The
Before my
best.
time, but clips that I do hear, he sounded fantastic.
Oh, Bobby Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon were the best commentary duo. I mean, you could argue that they were the best of all time.
I'll have to go look back. What years were they?
Um, 91 and 92 was the majority of the years. And Jesse the Body Ventura and Gorilla Monsoon in the late 80s into the 90s. And Bobby
Mm,
Heenan kind of replaced Jesse Ventura and just really picked up the ball and ran with it with Gorilla. Those two guys were one of the best, the absolute best. Maybe even better than JR and Jerry.
wow. I'll have to go check them
Yeah,
out.
just go back
I'll
and
get back to
listen.
them.
Let me see. WrestleMania 8 is a good example. Um, to watch and some of those pay-per-views leading up to that the year before, very good. But yeah, if you really want to get yourself like Bobby Heenan was known for a lot of good one-liners, and like the two of them, and Gorilla would be like, "Would you stop it?" like all the time, and like just yeah, I love the old stuff, but we have some really, really good announced teams now.
Mm,
Everybody's forgetting Vic Joseph on NXT has just grown a lot with this commentary. I would like to see him come back up to even SmackDown. I just don't think they really needed to hire another guy. I think WWE has announcers in place right now. They could have easily brought up Vic Joseph. I would have loved that. I think he's worked so hard down at NXT. Him and Booker, very, very, very good together.
mm,
But I would say eventually, for sure.
mm.
But yeah, so that happened, and that's gonna, I think, probably start soon. I would imagine. I didn't see the whole report, and I kind of looked at it like really quickly. But let's talk about Punk, Drew, and Seth. So Seth Rollins relatively gets screwed by CM Punk because CM Punk takes out Drew, and Seth ends up losing the match. with Damian Priest winning. And as we know, this was the last title shot that Seth gets while Damian Priest is champion. Um, on Raw, we saw backstage Priest and Seth kind of having a mutual respect for each other. Seth respecting the fact that even though he lost, Drew McIntyre kept his word and nobody, Judgment Day, interfered. So that happened. And Damian Priest was like, you know what? We had a gentleman's agreement, but I'm willing to squash that and give you another title shot when I'm done with Gunther. So that being said,
that was cool.
So that's pretty cool there. But now we have a multi-layer scenario going on because Seth is livid at Punk for getting involved in his business. And he made that quite noticeable as Money in the Bank went off the air. I'm sorry, as that match and segment came to a close. Seth was pissed at Punk. So we saw that promo yesterday. Very good promo, and in my opinion, I think Seth kind of won the war of words there.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this feud? I honestly think I was kind of surprised to see Seth and Punk to be joined back and forth at each other this early, because I'm thinking in my head that Punk and Seth is going to happen at WrestleMania 41 as a WrestleMania match. The match we were supposed to get at 40. Maybe they want to do this sooner and try to pack out Berlin. I don't know. What are you thinking here?
I mean, I don't think there's really a timeline on it. I think that they could definitely do it and then not squash the beef after one match. I think that the multiple elements make so much sense now because now you at least have 5 or 6 believable guys that can all go for the belts. You have multiple different angles that multiple different storylines intersect. So I finally, and I remember saying this, I want to say either last show or 2 shows ago, I really like that now you can name multiple different guys in the top spot and it actually makes sense. Sometimes it used to be 2 or 3 guys. Now you have about 5 or 6 that can really step in and be a champion, and it just, there's no timeline for it. They could all verse each other. They could have triple threat matches. There could be fatal 4s coming up. Seth can come into the Gunther versus Damian Priest match and interfere somehow. There's just a lot of different things that there could be set up, and I'm glad that they're finally starting to use that.
And Seth even told CM Punk yesterday that when he told CM Punk that when CM Punk is cleared, that Seth will take care of CM Punk before he could even mention Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
Which tells me that this is going to escalate at SummerSlam, if not right after SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, with the Bad Blood themed pay-per-view coming up, we could potentially see Seth versus CM Punk or Bad Blood in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That would be a good one.
Now, keep in mind, the CM Punk-Drew McIntyre feud basically started in November. So now we had December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. We've been going at this for 8 months now, and we still haven't got that CM Punk-Drew match yet. That it looks like we should be getting at SummerSlam, right? I'm thinking.
Think so. As long as he's cleared.
I guess we'll have to find out at Raw because Drew McIntyre was suspended for causing a big problem after the Money in the Bank pay-per-view and putting his hands on Pierce. CM Punk got Drew to Adam Pearce to lift that suspension, but Adam Pearce told CM Punk to stand clear for next week. So this way, Adam Pearce will have a sit down with Drew McIntyre and go from there. So I'm assuming we're still getting CM Punk versus Drew, possibly. But they really planted the seeds hard for Seth versus Punk. And where are we? In July now. So we're in July now. August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So that's 9 months until WrestleMania. I just don't think that we're gonna wait 9 months to get Punk versus Seth Rollins
Yeah, that's
based
a
on
long
what
wait.
we've
It's a
seen
long
this
ask.
weekend.
Yeah, it's a long ask
Yeah,
for them. So it's tough
that
to write that
is.
one. That's
This is
30.
this has been a
Yeah.
good. This has been a good long term storyline between Drew and CM Punk,
Hmm.
but that's not always going to happen like that. Dom is in big trouble. I mean,
Yeah,
he's in big trouble. Let me tell you,
absolutely.
I could see somebody posted it on Instagram. I was looking through the Aftermath Pro Wrestling Podcast's Instagram page, and somebody posted on Instagram about Eddie Guerrero when he showed up with roses for China
Mm. As yeah.
to make up with her. And I would not be surprised if we see Dominic Mysterio, just like Eddie, he's doing a lot of things like Eddie. And
Hmm.
let's just be straight. Dominic looked up to Eddie Guerrero. Um,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of similarities and like Dominic's hair, the mustache. It's just ridiculous. Like I'm really led to believe that Dominic is really the son of Eddie Guerrero after all. But
Hmm.
anyhow, um, we could see something like that where he shows up to with the flowers to Rhea Ripley to make up, and that would be pretty funny there.
Well,
Um,
hey, he's lying, cheating, and stealing hearts. So I understand it now.
yeah, Dom is innocent.
No, no, he's lying and cheating and stealing. I
It's true.
understand now.
Dirty Dom. He's a dirty man.
Dirty.
Dirty boy. He's
Oh
gonna be a
gosh.
world champion by WrestleMania 50. Can you like imagine that? Like I can't imagine that, but
I could no, he's moving, and just to bring, I mean, not a little, but him moving with Ray in the ring. I mean, you can tell where the DNA does come from in the wrestling. Like he is really starting to take to the ropes. And it took 2 years, maybe three, and he is really starting to take to the ropes.
yeah, for sure. He's just got to put on a little bicep muscle there. Just he just got to.
Just
He
a
kind of
touch.
still comes off as like a boy to me because like other than the mustache, he's still got that baby face, and
Yeah.
my biceps are bigger than Dominic's. I kid you not, and they're not even that big. So Dominic's got to hit the gym a little bit just to it's time to kind of start moving that direction. If you want to be a champ, look like a champ. So and I think that'll come in time. His in ring work has gotten a lot better. He has heat. This whole Dom and Liv storyline has been absolutely um, amazing. But anyhow, so let's talk about the road to SummerSlam really quick. Where we go from here? So it looks like they set up a number of programs. We just mentioned about Punk, Drew, Seth. Maybe we get a triple threat.
I think we have
Just
to.
and that's very possible too, due to the fact that Seth can rest in between. He's still fresh off of injury coming back. Punk can sleep during the match a little bit and get his rest while Drew and Seth are going at it.
Hmm.
Like these three kind of all have a hatred for each other, and it's all starting to like overlap. So it's very possible we get a triple threat match here, and then maybe later on we see the one-on-one match that we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
That's very possible. I don't know that for sure. Um, I'm looking at, I'm thinking about Drew right now. He's gonna want Punk, but then Seth wants Punk. Um, there's no love lost between Drew and Seth. I can tell you that much. I'm thinking right off the bat, um, we could see a triple threat there.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I think there's other opportunities for triple threats in the night as well. So I'd be a little, I don't want to say like, I don't really know where it goes from there. We might see a whole nother ladder match with how many different opportunities there are between people.
We like I said before, it looks like they're setting up Liv versus Rhea for SummerSlam. She should be good to go.
Mhm.
I told everybody just based off the injury that Rhea would be back wrestling between SummerSlam and Survivor Series. Looks like we're getting SummerSlam for sure. Um, so I fully expect Dominic to be hanging off the pole here. Liv versus Rhea Ripley. Dominic is maybe a special guest referee or somewhere hanging around. So we got that going on. Priest and Gunther, I'm fully expecting. Honestly, I'm like at this point, I'm kind of going out on a limb that Priest is going to retain. Gunther's going to lose. Gunther will have his title program, Royal Rumble when he wins, and then challenges Cody for WrestleMania. I think that's where they should go. They've definitely kind of have it set up that way, because like I mentioned before, they've been keeping Cody and Gunther apart. I know there's an opportunity of a great match there. It's a WrestleMania caliber match. So that's why I believe Gunther's going to lose, because maybe they have a bigger plan. But then if Gunther wins, I really don't know. What else they're going to do for Cody. I guess we'll have to wait and see how that unfolds. So I've been going hard. I've been predicting Gunther and Cody WrestleMania 41 for about a year now. And I predicted Cody versus Roman Reigns right after WrestleMania 39 when nobody was talking about it. Nobody was talking about it. But I had that predicted literally a couple days after WrestleMania 39. Like, watch, Cody is going to finish his story. It can't end like this. And, I mean, listen, they kept on talking about it. I don't know if did you watch the YouTube video of the WrestleMania documentary?
No.
I need to watch it. I have not watched it yet. But I'm fully convinced there is no way, the way that everything was booked, there is no way, no Ice Cube chance in hell that Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns was not the plan all along for WrestleMania 40. It absolutely was the plan. And they had you believing, even up to Royal Rumble this year, Cody pointed at the sign and pointed at Roman Reigns. Like, he called his shot. And then a couple days later, all of a sudden, just like that, he changes his mind and wants to cash in on the shot another time. Like, that just made zero sense. And then the fan outrage, and then they had to pivot back to Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns' original plan. Because we knew that was the most organic story. There's no way, whatever this documentary, whatever they talk about, there's no way they could have me believing otherwise, that Cody versus Roman was not the plan. I fully believe that was the plan the whole entire time. I saw it coming for a year that this was going to be what's happening. I even argued with my friends, telling them, I'm telling you right now, it's Cody Roman at Mania. I don't care what anybody says. And even when they tried flipping this to something different, I still stuck to my guns. So that's why I'm kind of hard on, what I saw, like Gunther and Cody had magic at these Royal Rumble matches. So that's why I feel like they're saving that. And that's why they've kept them on separate brands. So that's my logic to think that Cody and Gunther will be the championship match of WrestleMania 41. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely think it makes sense to at least continue every storyline that would be able to be set up before that, and then, like you said, have it grow organically into there. And they've already made Gunther somewhat of a winner this year with giving him the King of the Ring and obviously the opportunity to take on Damian Priest. And then after that, you only have to wait another 5 short months before Royal Rumble. So continue to put him in about 3 to 6, 4.5-star matches and keep him a winner until then. And definitely makes sense to set Gunther versus Cody up at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Again, they're not going to do Cody Rock, because it's going to be Rock versus Cody. Rock versus Roman Reigns. So let's get that out of our minds. Cody versus Rock will happen at some point. I just don't see it at WrestleMania. Don't see it.
Civil War.
Now people are going to say, "Oh, maybe night 1, night 2." whatever. We'll see. But we got and we have Nia Jax. Can't forget Nia Jax on the road to SummerSlam will be facing Bayley. I believe this is where Nia Jax will win her title. I don't see two King of the Ring winners winning the title that night, so I have to go with one of them. If I have to go with one of them, I got Nia Jax winning. Bayley, more of a chance of that happening than Gunther winning Priest.
Yeah.
What other matches am I missing here? LA Knight versus Logan Paul. That program has been building. Although that's not the match that's been officially announced, we know they're heading that way. And I got LA Knight winning against Logan Paul. Logan Paul was busy making babies for a few months, and now is about the time, right after SummerSlam, that Logan Paul should be expecting the newborn to come into the world. He'll take a little bit of a break, probably up to Survivor Series time. LA Knight will have the U.S. title for a hot minute, for a few months. I strongly believe LA Knight's going to win there. One could also expect that Gunther and Austin Theory are probably going to split up starting this Friday very soon. I would not be surprised if they did a one-on-one match at SummerSlam.
Are you expecting that real quick with Waller and Austin? Yeah, it's possible.
It's very possible. They gotta. It's all really all contingent on what happens this Friday. Solo. Let's talk about that really quick. Solo. Solo. Beat Cody Rhodes, pinned him in that 6-man tag there. With interference and everything. I was surprised that Cody took the pin, but I get why they did that as an excuse for Solo to come out on SmackDown. I pinned you. I should be the rightful challenger for your world title now. So I can see that exactly playing out that way on Friday night. And then we get Solo versus Cody for the world title. Then there's going to be a lot of shenanigans. And guess what's going to happen? Roman Reigns will come out. And he will make his return. Save Cody Rhodes. And that will bring us to the races for Roman Reigns and whoever tags along with him to feud against Bloodline 2.0. And that'll be a couple months.
Wow. Can't wait. That's going to be such an anticipated. You're going to have The Rock in there. You obviously have to get.
I don't know if The Rock. I don't know if we physically see The Rock and Roman touch until WrestleMania. If you want to keep that special, I don't think they touch. I think Rock could be the mastermind behind Solo and Jacob Fatu and the Tongas against Jimmy, Jay, Roman, and let's just say Sami Zayn. I think The Rock will be the mastermind, behind that whole thing. Solo Sikoa is going to be treated as looked at as the main heel now.
Mm-hmm.
The main guy of that group, just to build him up. So I think The Rock is going to kind of stay out of the way of that until we get to WrestleMania. Bloodline 2.0 has a hard time handling business against Roman. Rock versus Roman.
You're entirely there. There's 4 right now in the Bloodline. I know that I can't remember his name, and I do apologize. There's a guy, like I said, floating around in the Indies. That'll be the 5th member to come up. We need an old school versus new school, which it's the Osus, Roman Reigns, The Rock, and Rikishi. All Rikishi has an amazing comeback, and we have him in Civil War. And if I can get that, then that's all I need. We have 5 versus 5, old school versus new school, and I would hammer that home. Give me a Rikishi comeback, and I'm sold.
Oh, you just want to see Solo take a stink face from his dad.
Yeah, you know it. Because Rikishi obviously comes out fifth. You only need him to come in to do very little. And like you said, he gives a stink face to his son. His son gets speared by Roman, and Old School wins it, and we all go home happy. I just tell me that's not exactly what you need. Because that's what Randy came in for 2 minutes in that match. That's all you need from Rikishi is 2 minutes in a match, a stink face, and we're done.
I'd be entertained. I'm not gonna lie.
I think that might be the move is Old School versus New School because I can't think of, like I said, there's a fifth guy floating around. You get the Rocks to come back to, again, another guy that you know could still give you 10 minutes of good wrestling content. So he comes out he comes out fourth. And then Rikishi comes out fifth, and you give me 3 solid minutes of wrestling to end off the match because that's usually how it goes. Is it's the 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then it's that 3 minutes at the end to end the match. So I think that would be.
We know Hikuleo is coming back. Not coming back. He's coming in.
Right.
Hikuleo's coming in, and we know I've heard rumors of Roman Reigns' brother Lance Inoue possibly coming in.
Okay.
So how many Fatus are there? It's just endless. It's endless.
They all had
oh my gosh,
4 or 5 kids.
I'm telling you, these Samoans are going to be running WWE for the next probably till past the time I die. Another 50 years.
Yeah. I'm just glad that Umaga had a legacy or was able to continue a legacy after his untimely death. So that is definitely something that is worth noting. That Umaga was, a powerhouse back in the day, and now his kids are coming in to be powerhouses, and that's awesome.
So that basically wraps up the Road to SummerSlam talk. We've covered a lot today in a relatively decent amount of time. Cena, Money in the Bank thoughts, Rhea Ripley, Punk, Drew, Seth, Judgment Day, and then a Road to SummerSlam. So if you guys missed any of that, definitely check out the beginning of this video. Any of you guys that are watching, please give us a like and a share. That will help us out for sure. Post this on your feeds, share it with your friends, share it with your pet dog, let them know that we are here on YouTube every single week. Next week, we will be having a book review about Becky Lynch's book. Somebody brought the idea to me to reach out to the book company that does Becky Lynch's book to see if we can get her. I'm like, are you kidding me? Becky Lynch? I know I met her and everything, but that's a that's a stretch for us, but the heck with it. I'm gonna reach out to the book company and see if we can get our hands on her because she's not under contract. She could do any podcast and anything that she wants. So who knows? So I'm gonna do a little research on it. We're gonna be talking TNA wrestling soon. We're gonna have some shows on that, because there's a possible opportunity for us to be backstage for TNA Wrestling. So we're working on that too as well. So we have a lot of cool things going. Hopefully we'll get some interviews in the future. But for now, next week is the Becky Lynch book review. We'll be back with a raw post show or a podcast episode that Monday or Tuesday, depending on how it lands in 2 weeks. And then before you know it, we're right there at SummerSlam. So this month is going to fly by fast. We're just about almost to the midway point of July. We're halfway between the beginning of July and SummerSlam. We're at that halfway mark just about. So I'm excited. I'll be watching. I might even take a drive to Cleveland if the stars align correctly and we finally get our media pass for the Aftermath, or if I happen to do work with somebody else. So we'll see what happens. I'm off that weekend. I have nothing to do. Might take the drive. We'll see. So a lot of good things happening, and if for some reason that does happen, we'll be sure to post videos and pictures to share with you guys too as well. So that's pretty much all I got right now for announcements. Definitely be sure to check out our t-shirt website. Buy our t-shirt, www.prowrestlingtees.com. $25. You get the Aftermath t-shirt with our logo in either black, golds, and I believe we have navy blue on there. So definitely check that out. That'll help us out. Those of you guys that are watching, Brandon, do you have any last minute thoughts?
Think you covered a lot. That sounds awesome. If you could take that Cleveland drive out to check out SummerSlam. It sounds like a very fun and exciting time. I still have to read the Becky Lynch book, so I'll definitely try to get that.
Oh, the Becky Lynch book was so good, and her audio for the book was great.
She's been one of my favorites for a minute, so could definitely get into that in my limited time to read a book, but I will definitely try for that. I could watch Braun Breaker wrestle for a half hour. I'll say that every show. He wrestled against Ilya. I don't think we touched on that, but that is going to be a great setup. Sami Zayn, Ilya, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Sheamus, and now Pete Dunne. We didn't even touch on that. That was crazy that Sheamus left Pete Dunne high and dry last time as Butch. Now he tried to go back in for a hug after, and he got denied. So Pete Dunne is still hurt, and we'll see what that ropes into.
Oh, and not to mention Zoe Stark and Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler, they turned on Damage Control. So is Damage Control face now? Is that what's happening?
I guess so. I guess we're going to have two heels verse. I mean, I don't know what they're going to be called. I hope that they're called the S Kickers, because it would be Sonya, Stark, and Shayna. So if they call them the S Kickers instead of the Ass Kickers, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be interesting.
I don't know. Again, I don't know a name. It's just something that I'm very. My brain is very weird like that. I pick up on stuff like that. I'm like, oh, S, cool.
The S team.
Yeah.
Remember the B team?
Oh my gosh. Now we finally saw him for the first time in a face reveal for real, like in person on camera versus on a tape. That tape was really good. I think that was another great setup. I think we'll finally see. We saw the human side of the Wyatt Six. That was very cool.
That was cool. Let me tell you something. WWE left us a lot to look forward to next week.
Yeah.
So
that's a very good.
The book has been great.
There really is. It's crazy. I'm a big horse race fan, and there's sometimes you're allowed to have a 1A. You're allowed 1A, 1B, 1X. You're allowed to put like 4 different horses that you own into it. That is what WWE got going on right now. They have 4 different horses that are all running that all have a chance in the race. They're just, every storyline is getting set up very well right now. And the rest of the horse track ain't too bad either. They definitely got 2, 3, 4, and 5 all running right next to them. So they really do have some great storyline setups. They're finally using the wrestling to set stuff up. They're using attacks. They're using backstage stuff. Like it's good, because there used to be a lot of, as I called it before, acting, and there wasn't a lot of wrestling. Now at least there's a little bit more wrestling along with the acting. Storylines are set up. There's multiple different people involved. It's WWE is doing great. Triple H era is fantastic, and I hope that they continue to ride this wave out because they're doing great.
Absolutely. WWE is on fire. And speaking of on fire, the Aftermath Pro Wrestling podcast has been on fire as of late. Thanks to Brandon and Joe and the other Joe when he hops on for our post shows. We've been on fire, clicking on all cylinders every single week, sometimes twice a week, dropping in a new show. Our viewership has gone up. Our YouTube shorts have gotten into the thousands. So definitely thankful for that, and we're just looking to get this ball rolling and really gain some momentum for a really awesome, which I believe is going to be our best Royal Rumble WrestleMania season yet. So we're just like Triple H is cooking, we're cooking too. So I just wanted to thank you guys all that watch and that like our video. Every single like, every single view is so important. to RSS. So thank you guys all for that. And Brandon, thank you so much for hopping on tonight for episode 117 is in the books. We're closing in on 120 episodes very soon. Those of you guys that are watching, thank you so much. And you guys all have a good night.
Agility from the champion. Game 6. That could be a delivery.